348-100.
This Lawrence, I guess he was a Hunger Games director, maybe at least one of them. Sony has announced that they're going to make a Sublime biopic with a guy who wrote for Ozark. They got good people in this. Of course, the other guys are now, what are they now? Oh, they're Sublime with Rome.
Yeah.
We give away tickets when they come through. They were Long Beach Dub All-Stars for a while. I think that was their first foray back on the road after Bradley Knoll.
I've seen both iterations, and Sublime with Rome was pretty good.
Yeah, Rome Ramirez is great.
He sounds real good.
Yeah. So the Sublime film is in the works about how Sublime launched an entire genre of music. I guess I never looked at it that way because there were so many white boys who were lifting from reggae, but I guess they did. They did a lot of different things. There's some bands that kind of just lift that sound, but Sublime definitely went in a bunch of different ways. What I Got and Santora and Wrong Way, and I always use a version of Doing Time to close this show. And Saw Red is a great underrated Sublime song. And so I think Bradley Knoll's son is all grown up. And so Sony is going to make a Sublime biopic. So there you go. If you listen to us on the iHeartRadio app, you can always leave us messages there. Let me see if this is the right one. There's a bunch of them piling up.
Hey guys, love the show. Just wanted to let you know that wielding something means that you're holding it with the intent to use it as a weapon or a tool. That's the difference between holding it and wielding it. Holding something, you're just holding it, but wielding it means you're getting ready to use it for an intended purpose.
There you go.
That's kind of what I was saying.
That's why I'm always wielding my penis.
Use it as a weapon.
I mean, not that nefarious, but I wonder if that guy's off to a Renaissance fair. Maybe that's where he sounds like a LARPer. I mean, who else would be walking around with the wielding distinction in their back pocket?
Maybe he works with tools.
Yeah, maybe he does. Hey, you got a drill I can wield?
Alan, this is Razorback Ribsaw Reynolds. I was listening the other day and heard you mention my name. I may be behind on the podcast, but I'm not behind on the paid cast. And the paid cast says that...
Wait, the paid cast? What did he say?
Paincast. That's...
From Painesville?
No, I think he's just saying, like, that's his thing as Razorback Ridgesaw
Reynolds, right.
Reynolds or whatever it was.
We were talking about the guy who claimed to be an MMA wrestler and a porn star. And I don't know wrestling, so I just made up a name. Yeah, Razorback.
Well, apparently it's a real person, and he's calling in.
Oh, okay.
Alan, this is Razorback Ribsaw Reynolds.
Ribsaw.
I was listening the other day and heard you mention my name. I may be behind on the podcast, but I'm not behind on the paid cast. And the paid cast says that you're going down this Saturday.
I almost crashed my car laughing so hard at Razorback Ribsaw Reynolds. I can't believe you guys brushed over it so quickly. Bye.
I like how he was doing the, whose voice was he kind of imitating? They kind of had that stuffy nose voice. They're like,
I mean,
I'll
it's
tell
just
you
kind
something,
of
brother.
I think he's just trying to do like a generic wrestler type
Is that
of
who it
voice.
is?
Yeah.
They always sound stuffed up because they were constantly getting hit in the nose or
doing cocaine.
Yeah, cocaine. Yeah, I wasn't. I technically wasn't allowed to watch professional wrestling, but I don't know that I was clamoring for it either. My friends were into it. I don't know that it was something on my radar. I mean, I was familiar, obviously, with the people who transcended wrestling. I knew Hulk Hogan, and I knew Razorback Ribsaw Reynolds, and who else?
Macho Man Randy Savage.
Macho Man Randy Savage was always
Slim Jimming it
stepping
up.
into a Slim Jim.
Snapping.
He was stepping all over them Slim
stepping.
Jims. Oh, and yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
Right.
He was great.
That was his thing.
Mm-hmm.
But we weren't allowed to watch. Like when I was a little kid, we weren't allowed to watch The Three Stooges. So my parents thought it was too violent, even though it was comedic violence. And I wonder if that's what, like I don't, as an adult, I never liked watching things where people get legitimately hurt. I don't like watching shows where people break bones or,
But what about like where people are hurt, but they're not like you like the Jackass movies and stuff like that. Like those are fun.
That is fun, yes.
Yeah,
that's because they're all kind of planned. I mean,
Right,
I
yeah.
always assume that there are precautions in place, and I don't know.
And there are, but there aren't. Especially
That's-
when you go
yeah.
back to like the early Jackass stuff. If you watch the what is it, like Jackass 0.5 and
Right.
1.5 or whatever it is, where they are, it's almost like a documentary more about how they make these things and how they had almost no permission to do anything that they did, and it was all just kind of the seat of their pants.
I've only seen the Jackass movies. I never watched the TV show, but I also don't recall scenes where like they broke bones and they're sitting there holding their leg and screaming. And
I mean, I think there were some concussions, some stitches,
yes,
and things like that.
bumps and bruises
Yeah.
a lot. Yeah, but those kinds of things. That's why when my daughter gets into this thing, she loves watching America's Funniest Videos because they're all on the Tom Bergeron years are all on Disney Plus, and it's a funny show. But it's basically a compendium of people getting really hurt over funny music. It's a lot of kids making like makeshift BMX ramps into a lake, and then they take the they take the frame bar to the nuts or something, which. I mean, I guess I make you giggle. When the whole crowd say that, how, and I'm like, these people are getting seriously hurt.
So I've watched the Jackass TV show because that was like watered down for TV. They blur out pretty much everything, and if it's too gross, they just don't show it at all. But as far as the Jackass movies go, I don't know how many have they made? 3?
3 or 4.
I have never seen a movie all the way through.
They're so goddamn funny.
Did they ever add a black guy to the cast or no?
Yeah.
Okay, so
I think they're trying to set up the next generation of Jackass.
Yeah.
So this last one, they kind of threw 3 people in that, I mean.
They're funny though.
Yeah, they're funny.
It was there's like 3 or 4 of them that were new because it was.
Well, there's a hot girl they just threw in. I don't know why, but.
But she did some stuff.
Yeah, but like they weren't gonna.
She's a comic.
They weren't gonna get her concussed. Is
Right.
my point. Yeah.
I don't know. She did some of the. She did the. I don't know. She did some stunts. She wasn't bad. But there's the new fat guy, Zach.
Yeah.
And then there's Poopies. I think Poopies was a favorite. And then there was the black kid that his dad was on it, Dark Star. Was that his name?
Yeah.
Or Dark Shark.
Dark Shark.
Dark Shark. And Dark Shark was great. I love Dark Shark.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm in here, not this morning. I mean, probably between 11:30 and noon. And 2 Cleveland police squad cars pull up onto the curb right out here in front. And I don't think much about it.
Can I?
Well,
I was told.
I'm not telling the whole story.
Okay.
Not telling the whole story.
All right.
I don't know why they were here. Let's say that. I don't know why they were here. But these cops pull, and so then I see these 2 or 3 cops standing outside in like tactical gear.
Ooh.
And I give them
They're ready to roll.
Yeah. They look in and they kind of give me the thumbs up, and I say, "Hey, what's going on?" Or whatever.
Hey.
Well, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I
How's
look
it
out there.
going?
Yeah, I look out there, and it's downtown Cleveland. Like, who knows? It could be, everything is so overblown now that it wouldn't surprise me to see guys like a SWAT team pull up just
It's
to
just a ticket.
roust a homeless guy. Yeah, right. It's just what it is. If you have the equipment, you can't keep them from using it. And then a few minutes later, I see a couple of dudes with like shields and like like a full-on. And I go, what the hell is going
our glass
on?
Bulletproof?
With the what?
Is our glass bulletproof?
What do you care? You're in the back. You're safe.
Oh, I know. I was
We're the
asking
ones
for
on the
y'all.
front line.
Yeah.
I want to know.
You're trying to you're trying to steal our valor. If something goes
I
down.
want to make sure the show is prepared. I gotta get my stuff.
I think
This was like 11:30. It was long
there's
before
two panes of glass, so it's not bulletproof. But I think for it to go through one and then go through the other, I think we'll be all right.
I mean,
I don't want to find out. I don't want to find out.
I don't either. I was like, if something happens in here, I mean, again, they didn't look like I was fairly certain they weren't here for me, you know? And so, but it kind of freaked me out for a second. And then a few minutes went by.
Sir, stop wielding that penis.
That's right. And we've
had reports of a penis wielder.
Wielding, that's right. Are you brandishing your nuts?
We had a report of nuts, hot nuts. They were by the stoop down man, I believe.
That's right, being brandished all over the place. And so they called out the... Yeah.
Can you put it in the group chat?
Yes. I'll tell you in the break. Yeah. By the way, this is for Jeff, who was one of our bureau chiefs down in Tampa, and I think is back up here now. But we kept him sane during a tough time. Yeah, so it was a pretty wild scene, boy, this morning. I was kind of like, because more and more guys were showing up, giving me the thumbs up, and I'm like, are they trying to lure me into a false sense of security?
What I'm saying. I would have to gear up to like not do a play-by-play. Like,
are they going to come in and, and with all guns blazing?
You ready, sir? Ready for what?
Well, like I expected to kind of half out of my periphery. I wasn't going to sit there and, window lick and see what they were trying to do. I certainly wasn't going to go outside.
Well, someone used the term window licker yesterday. I just can't. That's such a funny term.
Right. So I wasn't going to go out there because I'm not, not nosy Nancy, but I mean, it was right in front. I half expected to, out of my periphery, see like a whole thing going down in the street, like De Niro and Pacino in Heat. But it didn't come to that. So as quickly as I saw everyone...
Yeah, they were here and gone.
Yeah. As quickly as I saw everybody kind of
that would be
get their platoon together, they moved out.
That'd be very uneasy for me to see. I don't know if I could. That would give me anxiety.
You couldn't handle that?
No, I don't want to sit right next to it. Hell no. My mom would be like, "Oh hell no! Come home right now."
Come home? Why? You're in downtown Cleveland.
You
could walk out this front door and some random mental case could hit you in the head. He could be wielding a brick.
Meanwhile,
you got to have some situational awareness no matter where you are.
If you've been to Poundcake's neighborhood, he ain't much safer.
How dare you?
Yeah, but he's throwing he's wielding hands out there.
Every place I've lived has been hood adjacent. My street's perfectly fine. It's very, nicely landscaped with a bunch of trees. So we got some potholes.
Those grow naturally, right? I don't know that people are landscaping.
Yeah, but they're like part of the
people have planted trees.
It's a very nice neighborhood.
You're in Cam's Corner still?
His street is a nice street.
There's nice streets over there.
It looks like a
Once
but
you
you get off that
Avenue,
street and it gets a little home.
Like I always every time before we got my place, like I drive past and like I see if people are out walking their dogs, I'm like, okay, that's a good sign. If people are out there playing with their kids, that's a good sign. But then when I see people just sitting on their porch all day, every day, and then there's more people that come to the neighborhood and also go to that porch, I'm like, no. I don't want an entire, 30 people sitting on one porch. That's suspect.
Yeah. People want me to be AC crime catcher. I'm not out there doing that. Not doing that. They clearly had a job to do, and I wasn't going to impede any of their progress, but it was certainly a startling thing to see the formation in front of the window here.
I do want to see them in uniform, though. All hot.
Well, they're covered up with all that gear.
They're ready to go.
They are ready to go. Alan, you weren't allowed to watch violence while your parents were beating you. That seems logical. Yes, I got
We don't
spanked.
want you watching this. We want you feeling it.
I did get spanked a lot. Thank you for bringing that back up. Alan, I wasn't allowed to watch Dukes of Hazzard because my dad's from Georgia. And I wasn't allowed to watch Three's Company because Jack was a flamer. Well, he was pretending to be a flamer in your dad's parlance. My dad's from Alabama, and and Mississippi. He didn't have a problem with the Dukes of Hazzard. Once he got too woke, they had to take away the General League, God damn it.
They just took the flag off the top.
More your liberal, whatever. I loved Three's Company, boy. Holy cow, did I love Three's Company.
That was a little bit.
I'm like,
time.
well, sure. I don't even know if I was 10 yet, but I was like, oh my God, this dude is living with these two girls. The premise is funny, though. This is the 70s, and for some reason, they thought it was okay that the only way the landlord would let him live with two girls is if he pretended to be gay. That was the premise of the show, not subtext.
That's come on, knock on our door.
Come on, knock on our door. Yeah, the late, great John Ritter. The girl from Jackass did the scorpion bite,
That's
bit her
right.
lip. She got a taser to the tongue.
Yeah, taser.
Yeah,
to the
she
tongue,
did a
that's
couple
it.
things,
Yeah,
right. I'm just saying they didn't like launch her out of a cannon into
Right. Who are the women on Three's Company?
Joyce DeWitt was Janet, and Suzanne Summers
Oh, okay.
was the first blonde.
and then they got
then
rid
she
of her?
left. Suzanne
Did-
Summers is a great 70s case of somebody who went in for a contract dispute and I guess way overestimated her value to the show.
Did they replace her? Like, was it the same character, just new actress, or did they just say she moved out and someone else moved
Her
in?
cousin moved in,
Okay,
yes. There
there
were
you go.
3 different blondes. I think Suzanne Summers was on the first couple of seasons. And then they had an actress named Jenny Lee Harrison, who I thought was really cute. I guess Suzanne Summers was on the first 5 seasons. And then Jenny Lee Harrison comes in and she plays Chrissy's cousin or something. And then they had another woman come in for like the last 2 seasons. The show was on 8 or 9 years. And then they spun off the Ropers, who were their landlords. They did 2 spin-offs. They did the Ropers, featuring an early Jeffrey Tambor. And then when they ended Three's Company, Jack marries his girlfriend and opens a restaurant, and they did a spin-off called Three's a Crowd. And I watched all of them. I couldn't get enough of that.
You love the Three's Company universe. That was your
Yes.
MCU.
I
of
was
the
so
70s.
into the TCU
Yeah.
back then that I just could not get enough. Because it was a British show called Man About the House, and they turned it into, a lot of times we'll take from other countries' shows and turn them into something else. Three's Company. I loved it. I don't even know if it streams. I feel like that's one of those shows you have to, like, find the DVDs of it.
It might be out there. Well, yeah, they might not want to stream it because of there's probably a lot of gay jokes. It's probably
Yeah,
a lot.
Yeah, not even jokes. It's just like the landlord looking toward the camera and like fluttering his eyebrows or something, or eyelashes. It's on like all the weird free apps, Fubo and YouTube TV and whatever. But couldn't watch Three's Company. This guy says. Yeah, my parents didn't have, as Catholic as I grew up, I never once heard an unkind word about gay people. That never seemed to be a thing in my house. So.
Really?
Yeah.
I find that fascinating.
Why?
I don't know. Just from what I've heard, just from I have friends that are Catholic, and I know people that have been disowned from their family.
Oh, don't get me wrong. There are plenty of religious people, Catholic and otherwise, who don't want anything to do with gays. It just wasn't a thing in my house.
It was just not talked about really, and if
Right.
it was more of a hate the sin, love the sinner type of thing.
Yeah,
Like, it
that's what
wasn't-
I got.
We weren't in a house that was like overtly bigoted, but it was more of that stuff where you just go, well, that's not a natural thing, like things like that. And then a lot of,
Old people love to say homosexuals. Old people, everybody I know who is like 60 and above, and they're really religious, they don't say gay. They're like, and you hang out with homosexuals. Like, I'm
Sections.
like,
Homosexuals.
You don't want to go to L.A. or Hollywood. It's nothing but a bunch of homosexuals.
Well, the old jokes about L.A. is like, why are they sold a health food? Because it's all fruits and nuts out in Los Angeles.
What Jimmy didn't know was that Ralph was sick, a sickness that was not visible like smallpox, but no less dangerous and contagious, a sickness of the mind. You see, Ralph was a homosexual, a person who demands an intimate relationship with members of their own sex. So no matter where you meet a stranger, be careful if they are too friendly, if they try to win your confidence too quickly, and if they become overly personal. One never knows when the homosexual is about.
Well, fun fact by somebody reminds me of, and then I'll go to a break here. Priscilla Barnes was the final blonde on Three's Company, and she was the topless psychic in Mallrats with the 3 nipples.
Ah, yes.
Yeah. She still looked good, boy.
She looked great
Mallrats.
in Mallrats.
So there were probably a lot of shows, maybe your parents wouldn't let you watch or whatever. You couldn't watch Fantasy Island because your parents hated midgets, or who knows. But everybody's family probably had a show like that. Light in the loafers was a common phrase, right? They had all of those 70s references that, like Poundcake said, people of a certain generation probably use.
Light in
the loafers. He's a little swishy, isn't he?
Oh.
Okay.
Friend of Dorothy.
Friend of Dorothy. I'm going to break. I will have the last pair of tickets for you to see comedian Dan Cummins with the very talented Mary Santora opening. Show is next spring. It's Friday, April 7th at the Agora. You can go to agoracleveland.com for the details, but I'll hand you off the last pair this week for that show coming back. 35192. Want to send a text, and we'll be back.
It's the Alan Cox Show.
Oh, no.